Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the special night presentation, Saturday night presentation of the market strategy session. Hope everybody is having a good Passover, or they're going to have a nice Easter, or they're going to have a good Sunday. Whatever it is, I wish you well. So if you're celebrating, that's great. And if not, that's great too. Perry, thank you. You too. Rob says, would market have gone up or down with lousy job reports? Well, the market did go down. The futures did spike down off of the number. We don't know what would have happened had it been a full session, though, if they would have recovered or if they would have trended down. There's no way of knowing that, unfortunately, because it didn't. There was no market on Friday except the shadow session because of Good Friday. So we don't know. That'll definitely make things interesting for Monday. Anyway, glad everybody could be here tonight. We have a pretty good turnout comparatively to what we normally get. A little bit light, but that's not surprising. Anybody know the Duke score? Are they still kicking the crap out of them? I think the next game is going to be an awesome game. I think Kentucky wins. I think it's Kentucky-Duke in the championship. That's my opinion, but what do I know? I am not a betting man, although I used to be. So this week, let's talk about earnings reports. Nothing really going on Monday or Tuesday. Wednesday, though, it all starts because Alcoa reports right here. So Wednesday after the market, Alcoa reports, and you will hear the media start talking about how this is the beginning of earnings season. Personally, I don't think that's when it starts, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what people go by. Okay? So earnings season is now upon us once again, which means that for the next at least couple of weeks, I won't be saying, okay, nothing to look at earnings-wise, because there'll be lots of stuff reporting. But this week, Wednesday, Alcoa, nothing really else as far as earnings, important earnings. Now, economic reports, we have the Spanish unemployment change at 3 in the morning on Monday. We have ISM non-manufacturing at 10. That's during the market. That can move us. Got some oranges like Jolt's job openings. We do have the FOMC minutes on Wednesday. So that's going to be one to watch. All right, we're going to want to see what the reaction to the minutes are. So circle that on your calendar. Unemployment claims, the weekly unemployment claims will be Thursday. And then Friday, LACA speaking at 8:30, and we have import prices, but they're rated oranges. You can definitely pay attention to oranges if you're a day trader and you see something rated an orange or brown, whatever color this is. You definitely want to pay attention to it if you're in a position, but red you really have to pay attention to. When I trade the futures, my rule is I'm out before a red number, sorry. I don't care. Long or short, I don't care what the market's doing into the number. I get out. All right, I don't stick around. With an orange, sometimes I'll let it go. Stocks definitely could be different if there's not a high beta and they don't move so well with the market. They kind of move on their own. Well, then it's a different story. You can choose whatever you want to. Okay? Paul will be here a little later, so I'm actually going to go first. I'm going to talk about the market a little bit, and then I'm going to take your requests. I will go through stocks until Paul gets here. So you could see we had this is what I call a mini coil here. And we did break down to the downside on Thursday. We came up and kissed it on Friday. We broke it down on Wednesday and kissed it on Thursday. I forgot that Friday we were not open. Here is what the S&P looks like after that job number report. Whoops, there it goes. So you see how we just fell out of bed. And then that was it. Basically closed here at, looks like it closed at 9:20. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever it was, I did see this happen. I know I didn't trade it or anything like that. Not my style to try to jump in something like this. I look for patterns to lean against. And, of course, since there was no New York market, we don't know how it would have worked out. I do not think that the market has put in a top. Paul will talk more about it. He's starting to see some things that are getting him nervous, but I do not believe they are enough for him to call a top in place. We'll have to listen to his opinion. Okay, the transports here, they are at the decision line here, which is previous support. They're not quite there yet, but they're only a few ticks away. So if they break through that, the transports actually break down, well, that's definitely something to watch and pay attention to, especially if you are a Dow theorist. Okay. But you see here the S&P, I mean, it's going more sideways than trending down. Short term, sure, it's down, but not longer term. The Qs, the NASDAQ, same kind of deal, more sideways than anything. Russell, I mean, Russell still doesn't look bad. Russell has been leading. I don't want to be Pollyannish and just think everything is going to be great, okay, but I'm not seeing any reason to get really nervous. Maybe we can have a swing down or a pullback, but a major correction or the big bad bear market that everybody's calling for, yeah, I don't see it yet. Definitely not enough evidence for that, okay? All right, so might as well give me your stocks, and I will go through them now. And then when Paul gets here, he can take over and talk about the market. He's at his Passover Seder. So just give me some stocks, and I will go over them. Please one to a customer until I ask for more. Please don't crowd with multiple stock symbols. It's not fair to everybody else, although today it's not a big, huge turnout yet. So there won't be you probably could get away with it, but rules are rules, so one stock at a time, please, okay? FedEx coiled right up at the 200-day moving average. This is a decision line, all right? We're either going to break down through it, and let's grab a fib and let's do some more in-depth analysis here. All right, so you got 156.22. We got to 162 will be the first stop, but I think if it gets through the 200-day and goes, I think it's going to have some momentum. Then you got 156.22, and then you got this 148.80 number. I don't know if that's the exact number. I could be off by a couple of ticks. I don't care. I'm just using reference lines. All right, that's how I do it. So FedEx, and of course, the other side of the coin. Always got to look at the other side of the coin. If it decides to break out of here, and it could absolutely bounce just because short term it's on a downswing. But if the 200-day holds and it breaks, talk to me when it gets over the 50-day until I can get bullish again. Full out bullish again. I'm not bearish, but full out bullish would be over the moving averages. CVX is coiled up here. Looks like it wants to drip lower, but again, got to be careful with coils. Even though it's in a downtrend, even though it's below the moving averages, you still got to give the equilibrium part of the equation the benefit of the doubt. So watch for a move either way, but I think it's going low. It looks more lower than higher to me if I were to guess. That's AAL. AAL. Okay, American Airlines. Yeah, I mean, I think oil's going lower to answer someone else's question too, but the airlines, which is this is showing some weakness here. I mean, overall, it's short-term weakness, of course. Longer term, it's still okay. But you got a range here. So, I mean, if it holds here or it holds the 200-day, then, yeah, it would still be bullish. And right now, I think it's more range-bound than to make a really good call on it. I don't like the way that it broke below the 50-day. That's not good on the short term. But, again, doesn't look like it's in a super rush to dive bomb. All right, might as well take crude oil out. while we're here. I think oil is going lower. I do. I think and it's all technical. You want to talk about, all the reasons why it's not going lower, all the reasons why it is going lower on a fundamental view. Good for you. Have fun. Okay. I think it's going lower. This is a very strong trend. I think it's just digesting the real big move, and then I think it's going to go lower. Right now, it is coiled. So again, we have to watch for a move one way or the other out of this. Okay, you want this oil. Okay, it's the same thing. Looks like it's going lower, but it's coiled up now, so it can go either way on the short term here. But if it goes lower out of this, just like crude oil overall, okay, then that may be saying that the trend is continuing. So we want to be careful about that. Twitter. Yeah, Twitter, which I really left for dead and buried, looks okay. It doesn't look terrible here. Excuse me. It's above the moving averages, right? But again, got to wait for confirmation, and then you got this 55, 56 number, whatever this high is here. That's what you want to look for. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't. I mean, could it be a cup and handle or some sort of freakish looking cup and handle? Yeah, maybe, but it definitely doesn't look terrible. All right, I think I did that one. All right, CHRW, yeah, watch the 200-day. Again, this is a sloppy pattern here, and it looks like on the short term it wants to head to the 200-day moving average. Apple. Yeah, Apple's interesting. Apple had a coil. It broke down out of it, and now, but it held the 50-day, which is good. Now it's in a little, I call this a sidecar pattern. This is when a pattern that looks like the bigger pattern sets up right on the outside of the bigger pattern. So that's what this looks like to me. So will it break out and head to the upside, or will it rotate down and test this 120? We should know pretty soon. It should resolve itself pretty soon. Okay, it's like a white head on a zit. Yeah, that's really nice and refreshing. I hope nobody just ate dinner. All right, Yelp. Yeah, I mean, kind of looks crappy. Looks lower to me. It's below the moving averages, but it is going sideways here. All right, so there's nothing really. Looks lower to me. SC is interesting. I mean, short term definitely has some uppity to it, but let's see if I can draw a wedge on this. It looks wedgy, even if it's not. So let's see what it has here. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's wedging up. Now that mistakenly is automatically called bearish. It's not a rising wedge or a falling wedge. All they are consolidation patterns. So we want to look to see which way it goes from here. But it looks like it's filling out a consolidation here. All right, I think I got everybody. So next round, go ahead, keep asking. I'll keep answering. KMX. Okay. So KMX, if I put the right symbol in, of course, instead of LMX, COMEX looks very nice. Very nice and strong. It is overbought here, so wait for a pullback or pause. I don't like jumping in up here with this kind of move. Rite Aid looks great. Again, it's overbought. It has the middle finger, the New York salute symbol up here, right? So you want to, you want to see what it does. I mean, it looks like it could do some rest. Could use some rest here, but I don't mean like it's a short, but I just mean like, let it coil or pull back a little bit. Still looks pretty bullish. It looks like it has some upside momentum to it. GDX looks lower to me. We might as well look at gold too while we're here, even though nobody's asking about it. Might as well hop to that after I do the GDX. GDX looks lower because it is coiled up, so we got to give it the benefit of the doubt. It could go either way, but it's holding below the moving averages. It's just not getting above it. So we have to watch that. All right, we might as well do gold while we're here, like I said. And gold is into the 50-day moving average. If it holds that, look for it to roll back over. I don't know if gold's bottoming out here or not. So we want to definitely, we definitely want to see what it's going to do from here, but it looks like the 50-day is potential resistance here. All right, STT. Yeah, I mean, it's triangled up. Could definitely go one way or the other from here, but it's triangled up here. Gotta wait for it to tip its hand. MVG, yeah, looks like crap. Right, look, it's hanging out down the lows here, and it looks like it wants to go low. If it breaks down below here, look for the late 2013 lows. Ulta, monster, just a monster here. This is coiling up here. I mean, it's overbought, but look how it's coiling here. So this is actually, it could go right from here, but it's definitely overbought, but it looks higher. The momentum looks like it's backing up a move higher here. MU, yeah, looks weak. Looks like this short term. I mean, we got to really get through this low here again because it tested this low and then quickly reversed. That's always nice for a day trade, but yeah, I mean, this looks like it's a small bear flag here. Looks like it wants to go lower. So keep your eye on that. That's MU. MA, this was sticking with the two-letter M symbols. MA coiled up at the 50-day, dropped down, but came back up and kissed it. So now we want to see, will it swipe back through it and get going back to the upside, or will it hold as resistance and go down? So there's a lot of good stocks you guys and gals are pointing out here that are at key decision lines, right? So that's good. I love when we're coiled and we're ready to move, because that means I'm pretty sure we're getting a move. Okay, when we're moving in a hot trend, you gotta wait for the pullback, and is how far is the pullback gonna go? Is it gonna be a two-piece move, a one-piece move? What's it gonna do? Right? See, I like when they're coiled and they're at decision points. GM, almost called it Goldman Motors. General Motors, pulling back here. You got a little two-piece pullback setting up, right? A little zigzag, as they call it. So it looks like the measured move is down to about 36. It looks okay. And it was pretty overbought up here with not a lot of rest, so maybe it's just catching up on its sleep here, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't look like a short, but I don't know if it's ready to get long here. XLE looks lower to me. But again, once again, I know I'm going to the well with this coiled stuff, but it is, right? You can see the lines for yourself, right? I'm not just making this up. So, another coiled stock. In this case, it's an ETF, but another coil here. So, yeah, it looks lower to me because I think oil's going lower, and therefore I think energy stocks will go lower, but it could easily do that too. Got to wait for confirmation. And more important than confirmation, you want to wait to make sure when it breaks that it sticks, that it doesn't just fake out, wiggle it out one way, and then come back the other way. Okay? All right, I'm still here. Next round. And if you don't want me to do this and you'd rather me just go over the market, I can do that too. And we could just end it before Paul gets here. That's no problem. Otherwise, just give me more stocks. Okay, UPS. UPS looks lower. Yeah, this stock looks broken. After this nasty gap down, it did everything it should be. Big gap, impulse to the downside, then it kind of worked its way up, and yeah, I think this is going down to these lows down here at a minimum. Yeah, this stock looks broken to me. XLU, yeah, another interesting one. And it's coiled right on the moving average too. I mean, you almost can't get more coiled than to see when they're overlapping the moving averages. You got to wait for it to tip its hand. You can't guess at this. This is a point of equilibrium. My gut feeling, I think it goes lower. Means nothing. Means absolutely nothing. Starbucks, 50. My gut feeling means absolutely nothing, right? So Starbucks, 1, 2, 3. right? Little 1, 2, 3 pattern. Very strong stocks. If it holds a 50-day, should try to move back and at least attempt to continue its uptrend. MPV, yeah, that's a weird one, Tom. Babson Capital Participation Invert, huh? I mean, it looks like it's going to the 2013 lows at a minimum. And if it breaks that, you got, I mean, down to maybe the 10 handle. There's a lot of room here for this thing. A lot of air down there. A lot of air down there. GDXJ. Didn't we just do this one? I think we just did the GDXJ. Well, kind of, right? I think, maybe no. I think we did the GDX, whatever it is. It looks lower to me, but it's coiled. AAL, I know we did AAL already. EDU, I'll do AAL again, though, just to show you the lines. EDU, this is a nice impulse. We want to watch for a pause or a pullback here that holds, and then we want to see if it continues up. But this is a nice impulse through, so you want to watch that. Let me do AAL again. So AAL looks more like it's consolidating here in a range-bound setup more than it's trending one way or the other. Short term, there's weakness, but it doesn't look like the highs are in. Okay, ALTR. Yeah, I mean, it's coiling. They got bought, right? So it's coiling up. What was the buy price? I mean, it looks like it's coiling up, so it looks like it's, wants to make another move higher. BABA, I drew this last week because there it is, and it's breaking down, and I think BABA's going lower. Another broken stock, in my opinion. This is a lot of momentum here rolling down. I think it's going low. I think it can go to 75 or below to start. Right, SWKS. I mean, yeah, nice stock. Really strong stock. Nice strong trend. It is in a triangle, so we want to wait to see if it confirms. Probably if it can get over 100, it should continue up higher. DXY. Was it the dollar? It's DX on me. Yeah, so the dollar is resting. It's had a really hard move. Both Paul and I do not think the move in the euro is over, and we do not think the move in the dollar is over. I think the dollar's going higher, obviously, if we think the euro's going lower. They move in an inverted relationship. Now, besides this day, which this is a real tick, if you kind of cut through this does look like a bull flag, but you got to wait for the confirmations. You got to wait for it. Okay, got to wait for confirmation. BA, doesn't look terrible. It's trying to hold on to the 50-day here, so it's not horrible. You got a bull. It also looks like it could be a potential bull flag. But again, while these are forming, tough to guess. Really tough to guess. I mean, that's really literally what you're doing. You're just guessing. AIG is very sloppy here. But it's in a big picture range. I really don't have a better talk on that than that. XOY looks okay. Looks like it's resting and digesting a little bit. That's kind of a crappy coil, but it looks like it's resting here after the big run up. So let's see if it can continue. TM, what's that? Toyota Motor. Yeah, I mean, it looks okay. Obviously, lots of gaps in this because it's an ADS. It's a foreign stock. But it looks okay. UPS I already did. GDXY J I already did. Verizon. It's spelled with a Z, not an X, just for your... looks like it's in a short-term consolidation. I think if it gets over 50, though, it has a shot to this high in pretty quick time in the high 51s or whatever that is. Okay. DD. Yeah, see if it holds the 200-day. I mean, but look at this move. That's a pretty nice size move for a stock like DD in this short of a time. It means there's probably consolidation coming. See if the 200-day holds. No, Northrop, right? NOC is Northrop, yeah. So it's consolidating here. See if it gets a break one way or the other. If it could break out, could go up to the highs. And if it could break down, it may even head to the 200-day moving average. Did Alibaba already. Denise says a number of coils. What's that say about the market? Indecisive. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the S&P 500, like I said, is range. I think there's a better chance of it being range bound for a while. I think a lot of people are picking big tops here, and the bulls are defending it. Well, there's a third option. It goes sideways, right? That could happen. Baidu. Okay, so these are the lines from last week. I mean, Steve, it hasn't decided what it wants to do yet, but it looks like it's going to decide soon. Looks like it's holding the 50-day from the underneath, so see if it moves and it breaks down. IVV for Mr. Salvador. Okay, so the IVV, this is the S&P 500, so it's basically the same as the SPY, where it looks like it could be in a consolidation here. Even if it breaks down out of here, you got the 200-day. Okay, so you want to watch that 200-day to see if that holds as potential support. All right, so, but right now, I really don't see on the market even a good short-term trend here. It looks more like it's waiting to decide. And that's frustrating. It's aggravating, But you can look for stocks. You look for individual stocks that are moving. ANFI. All right, looks like that's going low. It looks like it may want to test this spike low down here. Caterpillar. Yeah, it looks like it wants to go lower still. I mean, on the short term, this thing is just lower lows, lower highs, going lower, going lower, going lower. GMCR. Watch these lows down here. See if they hold that. If they do, maybe it'll get a bounce, but if not, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of air down here. This could head down to these lows in the high 80s if it breaks that with a thunder. If it just, you got to remember, a lot of times support and resistance are used for fake breaks. They'll break out one way and then reverse right away. So you got to, be careful with that. GPS, it's sloppy. This is a gap. It's sloppy more than anything. It has kind of a bullish hue because it's above the moving averages, but I mean, this is real sloppy action here. CDNS, again, very sloppy. Above the moving averages, but don't look like it's going too far, too fast. Halliburton, yeah, bottoming out? I don't know. Let's go to the weekly on this. You son of a gun, you. You son of a gun. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. I hate when I do that. Okay. This is the one. Not this one. Don't hit this one, Tiny. This one. This one. This one. This one. No, this one. Okay. Here it is. I always get them confused. I always hit the bar with the time interval. All right. So don't worry. I've only been using TradeStation for 16 freaking years. It looks like it's coiled up here on the weekly chart. So, to get bullish on it, it really has to get above this last high here at basically call it 45. But if not, it could definitely drip back down to this area. And then, of course, if it breaks down, it may go down to the 2012 lows. All right. SPY sideways, yeah, I know, until Yellen steps up and does something. YGE, it looks lower. I don't know if you could short it at $1.86, but it doesn't look so great. UNG, yeah, it looks like crap. I mean, picking a bottom on natural gas has been really dangerous. BB, hello, BB. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it's turned to a slop. Turned to a slop fest here. Let's pull the weekly up. See if we could see something on the weekly a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, it's got to get above last week's highs, and maybe it can launch again. It doesn't look terrible, but it's not, it doesn't really look great either. What is that? VLO. Like ELO without Jeff, what's his name? Okay, VLO, ooh, it's a nasty candle. Valero, watch the 50-day. If that doesn't hold, then it's probably going to this low. TMV, looks like it's more weak than anything. This is the 30-year Treasury 3-time, huh? So it's the bear. So let's look at the regular. Yeah, that's why the bonds look higher. CHDN, very strong, very strong. Churchill Downs, huh? My friend was at Aqueduct today. So it looks real strong. I would wait for a pause. I'd wait for a pause or a pullback, but it looks very good. I'm definitely not looking to short it. CPSS, sloppy. I mean, it's had a really nice bounce here, so maybe it's just resting before it continues higher. That could be the case. All right, ATVI. Yeah, it's at the 50-day. Doesn't look terrible. It's just, oh boy, I just hate all this overlap here. All right, let's try the weekly, see if we see something there. Yeah, maybe it's just pausing to get up to these 24s. That could be it. HP, sideways. But, you know, if it gets above, let's see, I mean, it has this line. Yeah, no, if it gets above here, then maybe it could try to gallop towards the 200-day moving average. SA, that looks lower. Seabridge Gold looks lower. Goldman, sloppy. I mean, it's just sloppy. It looks okay. It's above the moving averages. It just looks okay. Win. Could be a small W bottom here, but I don't like the way it broke down here. Again, I mean, this isn't going to be a good-looking coil. It's kind of crappy, but I would definitely watch this and see which way it goes. But the wind doesn't look so great here. DDD, that looks lower. Yeah, this looks terrible. So does SSYS. They look terrible. Linco. You know, I really like this. You guys remember, I was really like, oh, this is nice. Wait for it to pause. But no, I mean, it's got to get back above the 50-day moving average before I'm interested again. CLF, Cliffs Natural, yeah, looks like it's going lower. Looks crappy. COL was very nice looking stock. May need to pause a little bit here, but it's overbought, but looks really nice. FXL, yeah, interesting. First Tech Alpha DEX. Yeah, looks like the S&P almost to me. In fact, it looks almost exactly like the S&P. Right, it's in a nice strong move, and now it's in a sideways consolidation. Oh, but I think I was looking at the wrong one. You wanted FXI. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, FXI, the China large cap ETF looks great. Overbought, so maybe it needs to come in a little bit or pause. But yeah, very nice, strong momentum. CNK, very strong stock. Again, I'd wait for a pause, pull back, see if it can continue higher. Looks like it has momentum on its side. CERN, that Cerner Corp is consolidating here. Again, looks very, very nice. Nice short-term uptrend. See if it gets the confirmation and goes higher. Tazar. All right, so after this push in, you get the breakdown through, and now you got the potential continuation here. So if this is kissing it goodbye, then look for a move down to the 200-day. AMC, consolidating up here, but looks good. Looks nice and strong. Got to wait for the confirmation out of the consolidation. Lulu, Yeah, this is ugly. Yeah, no, this is pretty ugly here, Lulu. Wait for confirmation, see if it can break down here, or if it's going to go higher. LL, wow, starting to get a little life here after this big move down. So, really want to see if it can get above here and go into the 40s. AGNC. I mean, you got the consolidation under the moving averages here. So it looks like it wants to release to the downside. NCLH. Nice and strong. Norwegian Cruise Line, huh? It's nice and looks great. HTZ, that's more sideways, but it is below the moving averages, which means that's more than likely to go lower than higher. XHB, looks nice and strong as the home builders. They look nice. FBR, needs a pause or a pullback, but good short-term upside momentum. CCE, if it can clear last week's highs, it can go up to this level up here in the 46s. RCL, looks like it wants to go back to the highs. Exxon looks lower. Yeah, it looks like crap to me. Does not look good to me. Hang on a second. I gotta check my Gmail real quick. See if Paul wrote me and said he can't come because it's getting a little late now. He'd usually be here by now. Did Duke win? Does anybody know if Duke won? Oh, they won. How big? Did they win big? Oh, they crushed them. Okay. All right. No, he hasn't written me. So maybe I turned my phone off now because I got one of my friends was texting me. So I had to turn it off. He's in Florida. It was just kept binging, binging, binging. And I don't know how to mute it because I'm too stupid, so. All right. Yeah, Brian, we could do the market. Here's Paul. Just in time. So let me do these two last ones, ORC, more sideways than anything. And then Kihu looks lower to me. Looks like it's coming up, hitting the 50-day. Looks like it's going to roll over. All right. So here's Paul. Guten Pesach, by the way, Paulie.
Hey, talk for a couple minutes, okay?
Okay.
I'm just gonna get water and blow my nose.
Hopefully in that order. All right. So I'm still here, so a couple of minutes. Anybody else got anything? Brian, Paul's going to come on. He's going to do the market. Any other ones? I can look at any other ones you have for me. DX, we did the DX already. It's $1. Looks like it's in a bull flag. Looks like it's going higher. SLW. Ooh, it's an interesting one. We didn't do this today, did we? No. Those lines look fresh. Yeah, it looks like it wants to go lower. Because I guess LW wants to go lower. Baidu, I think we did already. Yeah, it's consolidating here. If we pop to a weekly, yeah, the daily's good enough. I think the daily's okay. So it looks like it may want to hold this as resistance and then go through to the downside. DMI. I don't have a DMI. I'm sorry, Rob. Darden. Okay, I don't know what that is. You got to tell me the symbol. I'm bad with that. Yoku. Yeah, it looks lower. Yoku looks terrible. Dang. Dang! More consolidating and congested than anything here. Doesn't look anything significant. See if we can get up to that 200-day if it can break, but looks much more sideways than anything. All right. Turn it over to Paul, where he will go over the market. Thanks, everybody, for joining me tonight. I will leave you in Paul's good hands. My middle son has this new stomach thing going around, apparently. So he was up at 4 o'clock throwing up. And then today it was coming out the other side. So hoping we all don't get it, but who the heck knows? I'm sure it'll spread. Paul, did you find the Afikoman?
No, I hit it last night, and then it took the kids 50 minutes to find it. I pulled the page out of my grandfather's playbook, who has since passed away, and in their apartment in New York 100 years ago, he hid it in the fern, the plastic fern in front of the windows, and we searched for over an hour. So it kept the kids away from the adults, and I finally found it. So I pulled that page of the playbook out to get the kids preoccupied.
What do you give them as a prize?
Well, last night my dad gave out, everybody got some money. I forgot what the winner got, $5 maybe?
Who won?
I think Katie won. What a shock.
She's not supposed to be. She's too old for that.
She's 11.
Yeah. She'll get hers when UConn loses.
Well, the jets are gassed up, the bags are packed, and we're leaving at 8:30 tomorrow morning. We're a day late. We won't be $1 short for the games tomorrow night.
The games are tomorrow, huh?
The games are 6:30 and 9 tomorrow. And then
the final is
Tuesday night at 9.
Where is it?
Tampa.
Oh.
So
women get no respect. All right.
I already made a reservation at Burns Steakhouse.
Very nice.
Yes.
All right. See you later.
Wait, did you answer all the stock questions?
Stocks, I only did a little bit on the market. Most of the day was all stocks. So it's all you from here on out.
No, my question is, did the folks have more questions on stocks before you go?
I got them. I got everyone.
Okay.
I got everyone. I did everyone.
All right. I shall start. So are you staying or are you signing off? Okay, so much for that.
No, I'm
on mute?
I'm not signing off. I'm not signing off, but I'm not really staying either. I have to go. I have to run to the store to get Joshua medicine.
Okay. I'll close it out and I'm
done.
done.
No. Just when you're done, you're done. I'll close it.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thanks, buddy. All right. Hope happy Easter to everybody who celebrates Easter, and happy Passover for those who finished up their Seders like Katie and I just did, although the family's still out of my in-laws. So let me just set up one thing and so hope everyone is having a good weekend. Okay, and we don't want moving averages. Okay, so it's interesting. At my in-laws, my father-in-law's buddy is about as close to a communist as you could possibly get. And then my wife's uncle is a socialist. So we have these phenomenal battles, and then, as usual, when they feel threatened, they make it personal instead of using facts. So I came armed with my facts for the discussion of the fight. So that was fun. Okay, that's good there. And all right. So I am sure those of you who are still left, we have the big news was obviously the market was closed on Friday, and that was the fairly putrid jobs number. I put up a good blog. So those of you who get my blog hopefully read it, and I didn't. It's not my data. It's Rob Hanna's data from Quantifiable Edges. He does a pretty good job. Now, problem with Rob's a data miner. So you can almost mine data to get any kind of outcome you want. We were all guilty of it at some point, but Rob did a good job picking out some data that when the markets close on Good Friday and when they release a jobs report, Monday is usually acutely volatile with a significant downward bias, which certainly the futures were down 20 points, 1975, as you can see here, on Friday morning, and the Nas are down, I think, almost 50. So we're going to have a 1%, unless something changed overnight, I doubt, we're probably 1% to the downside to begin the day on Monday. So on the ES chart, we're going to go back down and test the lower end of the range. And on the NQs, which is the NASDAQ, kind of the same thing. So what I wrote about in my blog and in the newsletter that I printed, that I published earlier today, is no matter which index you look at, this is, in my opinion, a trading range, a consolidation, a digestion of this move. And I think it's going to look a lot like this, where it's kind of choppy and non-linear, and it's going to move out sideways, and eventually it's going to resolve itself to the upside, although this doesn't look like it right now. But I do think that we continue to resolve ourselves higher. Fascinating on Friday was that stocks got pummeled. Interesting, because data was so weak. Bonds rallied sharply, and the dollar sold off. So we haven't seen that in a while, where we had stocks down, dollar down, bonds up. That's unusual of late. Let's dive in to the ETFs. So here's the Dow. In all likelihood, now we're going to come back down and test this area on Monday. You got the 150 moving average, which is flattening out, and you got the 200 just below it. But this, to me, I still believe this is a digestion, and maybe it takes on the Dow. Maybe on the Dow we go down to the October lows. I'm sorry, the February lows. We come down a full-fledged, whatever, 700 points down from here. Maybe. I'm not forecasting. I'm just saying keep it open as an option. But my key takeaway is I do not think the bull market ended at this candle right here. I do not believe the bull market's over. IVV looks exactly the same. There's not a single thing different. The mid caps have been trading stronger, as we know. You have a steady progression of higher lows and higher highs. This is the first time in a while where you'll probably, create a lower high and maybe a lower low. But I don't think this is over by a long shot. IW Mary, which is the small caps, looks similar to the mid caps. They look fine. Even if we go down and breach these levels here, I still think it looks fine. I don't think the bull market just ended 2 weeks ago. And the Qs have been the weakest index, as we all know. We talked about a couple of weeks. It's consolidating. Looks right now like the last consolidation. I think the key is as we consolidate and move sideways with maybe even a little lower bias, I think the key is we really want to see sentiment give up its optimism and get a little concerned. That will tell me it's time to get really bullish again. Right now, sentiment has not turned negative. Maybe we need a really ugly day Monday for people to throw in the towel. And maybe we consolidate for another, month or so. But I do not think the bull market just ended. BGK, which is Europe, as we discussed all year, has been leading and trading great. I continue to be bullish on Europe. I've been bullish on Europe since we began the year. As you know, I still am bullish on Europe. I don't think the party's over. I think they've got a pretty good slingshot left. I think this is just the beginning of a decent rally, not the end of one. And I would not be selling into this. Emerging markets, where I've also been bullish. It's been got a little frustrated here, where I held firm that the resolution was above these peaks, and we finally got there Friday. Very key to watch emerging markets this week to see how much pullback we get. Pullbacks are absolutely viable in the emerging market space. Let me just see. Oh, my two holdings. I do not hold EPI. I don't know why I pulled it up first, but this is what I sold a while ago. Looks okay to me. The little bottom, you have an island reversal here. And we've got some nice green candles, so I expect EPI after this weakness ends to head towards the upper end of the range. I am heavily long China, which trades great. I held firm, as we know, during these declines, and I'm being rewarded. It's going to pull back this week for sure, but I still like China as well as the Philippines. I said last week it's set up perfectly to see all-time highs again, and lo and behold, we are there now. So don't get so bearish yet, regardless what happens tomorrow. We may go down 300 points tomorrow. I don't know. But please don't hop on the bandwagon of what you're going to hear in the media about how the recovery is over and recession's around the corner, because I don't think it is. All right, let's go on to the key sectors. The banks. Banks are neutral, as I've said for a past, slightly positive. They're really trying to hang in. The banks are trying to hang in. It'll be interesting to see what happens this week, but they're trying to hang in. Trannies, we're not going to get to yet. Let's do the stocks next. Stocks, they really looked good as they were up in here, and then they just fell on that really big down day 2 weeks ago, and they try to muster some strength, and in all likelihood, we'll probably see some kind of move back down to here for the stocks. This move, I think is going to be a leader. So you asked me where the stocks is going. I think if we get a move back down to here, I think it turns tail and heads back up to new highs, and then eventually to all-time highs. And the trannies, which I wrote, so if you get my newsletter, I wrote about Dow Theory trend change, which it looks like the trannies are about to take out 1 low, 2 low, 3 low, 4 lows, and confirm a trend change, at least in the trannies, from positive to negative. We're not there on the Dow. I said this for many weeks, that I think this is a giant consolidation. I do not believe this is a major top. I do think we're going to poke down below, we're going to trap the bears, and then we're going to head right to the upper end of the trading range. Do I have a position in it? No, not yet. I'm waiting patiently. Okay, let me see if there's any questions. Atlanta Fed has GDP at 0 unless judge for it. Does this make rate hike? So if you read my 2015 fearless forecast, I said I didn't believe the Fed should raise rates at all in 15. I thought it was a bad move, a stupid move, whatever you want to call it. September looked like the most obvious choice for a rate hike, but with this data, it certainly calls that into question. I think GDP at 0 is, you might as well call it a recession. I don't think it's going to be that negative yet. I think the economy is going to rescue itself, but I don't think it's going to be strong either. So, bonds, which I'm long, as you know, TLT, having owned it coming into the year for the new people, they sold it. Oh gosh, somewhere in here the first time. Then I bought it back here, I think, and I sold it here, and then I bought it back here, and I'm still long. So I think bonds should get a little tail. Let me say this, very important point. With such an awful jobs report, bonds should be rallying well north of 133, 134. They should get a kick in the rear end right now. If they don't, if bonds don't get a kick in the tush right now, that's a clear sign something is different. Okay? Don't know what, but that will not be a good sign for the bond market. Okay. The rest of the sectors, software consolidating sideways, nothing really more to say there. One of my sector plays of the year is telecom. Had a really nice couple of days. It'll be interesting to see. Watch what telecom does tomorrow. Utilities, because the utilities have been dead. REITs, dead. And staples, the more defensive sectors. If any of them does not get a bid over the coming days, then I would say something is really changing in the market, curiously. Scratch your head, why? Because none of those, except for telecom, none of the defensive sectors really behave well. So the number from Friday was certainly a shocker. Let's see how these defensive sectors behave. Diversified financials, kind of same. I mean, they're neutral. Nothing really to do right now. Oh, very important. These three are important. Consumer discretionary.
I have it.
Hey, guys, hold on a second. Yeah, but I need to put stuff in there too.
I can't take
Just
mine.
pack your stuff, put it in your room on the floor, and we'll pack up later. Okay. So discretionary has been leading. This is consumer discretionary. This is a really positive sign intermediate term that you've got consumer discretionary leading. You've got the retailers leading, a subsector of discretionary. You have the home builders kind of sort of leading. So the three most heavily leveraged consumer areas are all leading. That's a good sign. Bear markets usually don't begin like that. So all of these, watch them closely into pullbacks. Right now, we're going to get a pullback. See how they behave. Energy's hanging in. XLE, which I don't own, this is a really nice, look at the weekly chart. Okay, this is the makings of rejection by the bulls are rejecting the bears' move. So it's slowly transitioning, so ever so slowly. And maybe I expect it because I'm long OIH, but I do expect this to lead to a move, 10-20% higher. Because I am long this OIH. You got double bottom. Let's go to the daily chart. You get a really nice rounded double bottom beginning. Friday, it poked its head high. We'll see what happens on Monday, but I think OIH, I told you, I added to my position a couple weeks ago down in here. I'm still sticking with it. Contrary to all the arguments I got, I'm sticking with it for now. I'd like to sell up in here on a gap close, but that may be too optimistic. We'll see what happens, but right now I'm holding on. XLI, industrials, nothing to do here. This is dead money for now. Pair of twos could go either way, but ultimately I think it resolves higher. I just don't think they're going to lead. XLB materials I have not liked all year. I think they trade sloppy, and I'm still not so excited about them anyway. XLV, healthcare, which I have a huge position in my sector strategy, and I've had it for a while. Let's face it, this is not good activity. You've got a lot of red candles so close to a high. You've got the red candle at the high. You've got some pretty good bearish days. It doesn't look like the pullback is over yet in healthcare. And biotechs, I also have a very large position in. It looked great. Looked great. And then we had the death knell candle. And now we are digesting. I would not be shocked if we come down even deeper, but I'm still holding on. They have not fell off my hit parade yet, and I still think that they've got at least one more rally coming. Now maybe the next rally, maybe this is what we get. Now we get one of these, and then one of these, and then they really cut them loose. I don't think it's quite ripe yet, but I'm holding on to that. So that's the sectors. Let me pause for any questions. None. You guys are, wow, deathly quiet tonight. Everyone's really quiet. Okay. We shall continue. We covered bonds. Here are the yields. I'm sticking with what I said since January 1. 10-year note, I like between 150 on the downside and 230 on the upside. I think this is going to be a nice trading range for a long while. I think we just keep bouncing around. And I would expect us to see right immediately tomorrow 180. I think we're taking out these two lows immediately. So just on a candlestick basis, you get a bullish engulfing here, a bullish engulfing here, and tomorrow it looks like they've trapped a lot of the bulls, and you're going to pull one of these tomorrow. What it looks like to me anyway. The dollar has been consolidating beautifully. I love these consolidations. I don't think the rally is over in the dollar, but it got really frothy in here. And we should have some more weakness in the dollar this week. But I don't think the major rally is over. We're in a short-term pullback or corrective phase. Look for the dollar to find some support a little lower, and then I think you can go back to new highs again. Euro should get a bid tomorrow. I do think you get a move towards 110. It's a screaming short up here, so I think you get your short hats on in the euro and get ready to pounce on it again. FXY, which I told you I bought last week, I'm already out of it, so I held it for all of 5 days. I think we bought it right here, sold it right here. And we're done. This is the euro. I'm sorry, this is the yen. If the yen gets any kind of move higher, I would pounce on it short as well. I think it's going to go down 50% still. Gold. I have no position in gold. That's a nice day on Wednesday or Thursday in gold. So it'll be interesting to see where gold's from here. I have no conviction. Pair of twos to me. I don't really have an opinion. And the same thing with silver. Maybe silver is a touch stronger, a little more constructively positioned, but I wouldn't stick my neck out in silver. GDX, which I traded several times, and have no position now. I think it's. I'll let it settle out right now. I don't really have an opinion on GDX. Let's do copper. Copper, which again we got long right here on this candle, which confirmed this bottom and has had a really nice run. This candle is the one that there's no shot you should be heavily long after that kind of reversal. And then you had a huge inside day there. So there's no way you should be in this position there. And then it's been kind of futzing around. I have no opinion right now on copper. We had a nice little trade and let it settle down. Crude oil. It's constructive. It's trying to round out, and I'm looking for a 50% move off of the bottom. So let's call this 42. Let's say we get a move to 60. We talked about 65 all year. That's what I'm looking for in crude. To bail my rear end out. Natty gas, which got a little bid last week, but nothing yet. It's trying to round out its bottom. It is trying desperately. Not there yet, but there's certainly some evidence that natty gas is beginning to percolate for a move significantly higher. Rob, how does Iran deal affect crude? Rob, I don't think the Iranian deal affects crude for more than a day, a week, 2 weeks. So I don't think it's a game changer, in my opinion. And even if it was, Iran can't really drill. They're so unprofitable with crude at $45 a barrel. Let's see, what else? What did I miss? What did I miss? Oh, I'll blow through the commodities, the grains really quickly because we talked about them last week. So last week we were getting favorable on wheat. Not much happened. I'm still favorable on wheat. It looks like it's trying to turn the corner for at least an intermediate-term rally. We're trying here, folks. I think you may get a little poke coming up if we get some more dollar weakness. And corn didn't look so hot as this long trading range continues. I'd rather play wheat, but corn could percolate as well. And beans, big trading range still. I'm going to lean to the upside again in beans. So all the ags, which is essentially DBA, they're trying. They're ever so slightly trying. The tropical commodities, here's sugar, which we hated. Had 2 good days to end the week on the weaker dollar. I still don't have an opinion. I know these are 2 really beautiful green candles, but I don't like the bottom formation. So it may go higher, but it's not one that I want to buy yet. Cotton, nothing yet, although I do think cotton is going to resolve itself up here. So cotton's when I poke to the long side. Nice trading, beautiful digestion, impulsive move here, working off a trading range, bumping. It should resolve itself higher. Cocoa, it's very sloppy and choppy. I would only like it to the long side here. I would not like it short, but I want to stop, pretty tight stop down here. And finally, for you Starbucksers, coffee I do not like. This bottom is sloppy and choppy. There's not a lot of constructiveness. This bottom is not constructive, so nothing really excites me. Anne asked for lean pork. Is that a contradiction of terms? Lean pork? Or pork, the other white meat? We had awesome pulled pork the other night, the pre-Passover pulled pork, which is really hypocritical, but we did anyway. And I have no idea what the symbol is for lean pork. Is it LB, lean? Oh. Well, that's a lumber. I should have known that. I do not know the symbol on any other questions, comments, concerns. So, again, the numbers were the numbers. In my gut, I think that these awful numbers from Friday are going to be an outlier. I think they may even get revised higher. I'm not concerned about them yet. It's interesting to watch stocks go down, the dollar go down, and bonds rally. I haven't seen that in a while. It certainly takes the June rate hike, which I thought would be insanely absurd, off the table, and it puts it back to September, which probably won't happen. So now you're getting pushed out. Volatility. If Denise wants VIX, Denise, you shall have VIX. I mean, I'll ask you guys. You guys tell me, what do you think about the VIX? Not your opinion as to what you have in your heart, but what does this look like to you, the VIX? Yeah, I agree with that. It's kind of, it's certainly no panic. More of the same. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I don't see much of the VIX here. It's kind of boring. VIX chart patterns, they spike at any point without really a good chart pattern bomb. So don't look at the VIX as you would a stock or a commodity. But I don't really have an opinion on the VIX. I mean, if we get some more weakness, it's going to go up. Let's call a spade a spade. What's my best sector long, Sven? Tough question to answer. So early in the year in my forecast, I picked telecom as one of my sectors of the year because everyone was negative on it. I went back to utilities for 2 years in a row. That's been a crummy, crappy trade so far. I stunk up that one. And I picked the home builders, which have been really good lately. So I guess probably into any weakness, I'd probably rank the home builders first, telecom second. Let's see. Ann says HE. Let's see. HE. There you go. Ann, good job. Lean Hogs. All right. That's what did I pick? LH. That's what I thought it was. LH. Having not looked at one of these charts in a long time. Wow. It's like crude oil, doesn't it? This has just been absolutely, it's down 50% in less than a year. Holy jeez. Oh my God, is that ugly. Wow. That is UGLY. And it's pummeled. I know you want to get on the long side if this is going to be a big trade. I just don't love the price pattern here, and I haven't looked at. I have no opinion fundamentally at all. I don't even know even how to look at it fundamentally at this point, so I can't help you. But I just don't like the way this looks down here. Maybe if it was a little more constructive, I could offer something technically, but I don't love this. You have the lowest low. You don't have any kind of emotional reversal. And now you're just kind of bouncing off a low. But ask again next week, the week after, and we'll keep an eye on it. Oops. Let's see. Sven, just be careful on selling puts, especially when a sector's a little stretched. I'd rather sell puts when the VIX spikes. That's when you get the most bang for your buck. Selling puts when the VIX is low, I think, invites trouble. I'd rather sell puts when the VIX spikes. And to answer your question, has it bottomed? It certainly could have. I just don't love it, to be frank, and I'd rather not give you flip answers. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Small, quiet crowd tonight. Must be because I know that Duke game stunk. We were running back and forth at the Seder into the other room to watch what was left of the Duke game, which wasn't much. At least now my Wisconsin, my adopted team after UConn stunk it up. So I'm rooting for the Wisconsin. Uh-oh. What the heck is this? Okay. Paul, is there a seasonal component to VIX? Seems to go down into the spring. Down. Well, you're still in a season. So, Rob, I guess it depends on your time frame, but in April, the beginning of April is a crummy part of the seasonal part of the year because of tax time. People selling stuff to pay their taxes, which I have coming up. I got a tax bill I got to pay. But I'm not sure I'd agree historically that there's a strong seasonal bias to the downside in the spring in the VIX. I guess it depends on where we are in the presidential cycle, which this is the third year or the seventh year. So I would you have to lean higher on the market. I mean, unless you see a series of warning signs and complex tops, I think you still got to buy any weakness. You think gold will go higher if the S&P goes lower, Tracy? It depends on why the market's going down. So gold's going to go higher. I guess if the economy really begins to tailspin down, Tracy, but you get some wage growth, I guess. So here's how you get I'm going to make this up. If wage growth starts percolating, but the economic numbers are really weak, stocks are going to get pummeled, gold will get a bid. That's how it will happen. Other than that, I think that gold, the best shot for a real gold rally is 16, 17. I still don't think the Europeans are QEing enough to get gold moving. They're going to have to really crank up the printing presses, and they're not doing it yet. But I think they will do it eventually. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Oh, be quiet. Oh, I know we didn't cover. You guys didn't even remind me. Or maybe everyone's asleep or watching the Kentucky game. So here's the AD line. You guys judge for yourself. You guys tell me, is the bull market ending right now? Bull market ending with the AD line there? I don't think so either. It would be a precedent setter. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but for all those bears who keep coming out of the woodwork every time we go down 2%, this chart says no shot. Sven, am I long Europe? Let me think. No, Sven, I'm not long Europe. And it's not because I don't like Europe. I do, but in my quant models, it just hasn't come up the hit parade yet. But it will. The other one is, high yield, which I am long. Oh, shoot. Here's JNK, which I am long. It's begrudging. Is it begrudging? Frustratingly grinding higher here. I don't love the action, but I am long it, and with one step out the door. It's got to get moving. I really want to see it up at new highs. Do you look at percent stocks? Oh, above the 200-day moving average? Yeah. I mean, Tracy, I will anecdotally go look at percent stocks above their 20, 50, 200-day moving averages. It's a slower indicator, but I don't look that close. It's not one of my main ones, no. Paul, do I still see upside EWJ? And yes, Rob, I think the yen's going down 50%, and I think I don't think the rally's over in EWJ or DXJ for that matter. The unhedged. So that pretty much covers it. Last call for questions, comments, concerns. I'm going to go watch the Kentucky-Wisconsin game. Go Badgers. Pack up for Florida. So my daughter and I can go root on the UConn women in Tampa for a couple of days. Eat some good steaks at Burns. Go to the beach. Do some real work. Maybe half a day at work a day. And that's it. So thank you all for coming. Have a great week. We'll be back next Sunday, same time, same bat channel at 8 o'clock. And Bulls and Bears alike, it's going to be a good week in the market. It's going to be a lot of activity this week. So I'll say this, enjoy. Don't do stupid things. Don't be in a hurry to lose money. And that's it. Have a great night. Tiny, if you're there, I am finito. Bye, guys.